The neon sign flickered against the perpetual twilight of Station Kepler 442, its garish pink letters promising workers wanted, all species welcome. Devlin stood before it, his worn jacket doing little against the recycled air's chill, and read the posting for the third time. The pay wasn't great, but it was honest work. Cargo handling at Bay 7. More importantly, it was enough to afford his mother's medication for another month. "Excuse me, Mr. Human?" Devlin looked down. A small Zarathian child stood beside him, barely reaching his waist. Her crystalline exoskeleton reflected the neon light in prismatic patterns, and her 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of nervousness among her species. She couldn't have been more than 7 standard years old. "Can you read this sign for me?" she asked in heavily accented Galactic Common, her translator implant clearly outdated. Devlin crouched to her level. "Sure, kiddo. It says they're looking for workers. Why do you ask?" "I need job," she said simply. "My broodmother is sick. The medicine costs many credits." Something twisted in Devlin's chest. He knew that desperation intimately. His own mother lay in their cramped quarters 3 levels down, her human immune system failing against a disease the galaxy had cured centuries ago, for those who could afford the treatment. "How old are you?" Devlin asked gently. 7 rotations, she confirmed. "But I am very strong. Zarathians can lift 3 times our body weight. I can work hard." Devlin glanced back at the sign. The station's labor laws were notoriously lax, but even here, child labor was technically illegal. Technically. In the Outer Rim stations, enforcement was a joke. He'd seen Creelian younglings sorting scrap metal, their 6 arms moving in synchronized precision. He'd watched Polarian children no older than this girl, cleaning plasma vents for half the standard wage. The galaxy was vast and beautiful and utterly indifferent to suffering. "What's your name?" Devlin asked. "Xena," she replied, her mandibles clicking softly. "What is yours?" "Devlin." He stood, making a decision that would probably haunt him. "Listen, Xena, I'm going to apply for this job. But I need a partner, someone small who can fit into tight spaces and help me move cargo. The pay would be split, but it's better than nothing." "Interested?" Xena's eyes widened, all 4 at once. "You would share your job?" "Partners," Devlin confirmed. 50-50 split. But you have to promise me something. You focus on your education programs when you're not working. Deal?" The little Zarathian's exoskeleton flushed a deep azure, the color of gratitude in her species. "Deal, partner Devlin." The shift manager, a grizzled Vexorian with scales that had long since dulled to gray, looked them over with obvious skepticism. "A human and a Zarathian hatchling? This is cargo handling, not charity work." "I'm strong and experienced," Devlin said evenly. "She's small enough to access the maintenance crawlways and check cargo locks from the inside. Together, we can do the work of 3 people. Pay us for 1.5 positions and you'll still come out ahead." The Vexorian's third eye swiveled between them, calculating. 1 position? Take it or leave it." Devlin felt Xena's small hand slip into his, her way of saying she trusted him to negotiate. He thought of his mother's last medical bill, of the sympathetic look the station doctor had given him when explaining that without the next round of treatments, she had maybe 3 months. 1.25, Devlin countered, "and you'll never find a harder working team." The Vexorian's mouth split into what might have been a smile. 1 position plus a 10% bonus if you meet quota. Final offer. Devlin looked down at Xena. She nodded, her antennae quivering with hope. "We'll take it." The work was brutal. The cargo containers weighed hundreds of kilos, and even with exoframes, moving them required strength and endurance that pushed Devlin to his limits. But Xena proved her worth immediately. She scrambled through the crawlways with fearless efficiency, her crystalline body squeezing through gaps no other species could manage. She checked seals, rerouted power conduits, and flagged damaged containers before they could be loaded onto ships, saving the company thousands in potential liability. By the end of their first week, they'd exceeded quota by 15%. "Partner Devlin," Xena said one evening as they split their meager earnings, "why did you help me? Humans are known for being competitive." Devlin counted out her share of credits, making sure she got exactly half plus her portion of the bonus. "We're also known for being pack animals. We take care of our own. But I'm not human." "No," Devlin agreed. But you're my partner, and where I come from, that means something. Xena's exoskeleton flushed that deep azure again. On Zorath, we have a saying. The crystal that stands alone breaks easily, but crystals bound together become unbreakable. I think humans understand this too. Yeah, Devlin said softly. Yeah, we do. 3 months later, Devlin's mother received her first full treatment. The color returned to her cheeks and her breathing eased. The station doctor seemed genuinely surprised. Humans rarely scraped together enough credits for the full protocol. On the same day, Xena's broodmother emerged from medical isolation, her own crystalline structure glowing with renewed health. The two families met in the station's common area, a dingy space between the residential and commercial sectors. Devlin's mother, still weak but smiling, embraced Xena gently. The little Zorathian chittered with joy. Your son saved my daughter from making a terrible mistake, Xena's broodmother said, her translator rendering her clicks and whistles into common. Child labor would have marked her permanently in our society. My son has always had a good heart, Devlin's mother replied, her eyes glistening. Perhaps too good for this harsh galaxy. Devlin watched Xena play with a small holographic toy she'd bought with her first real savings, money earned not through exploitation, but through genuine partnership. The sight made something fierce and protective swell in his chest. The galaxy was vast and beautiful and utterly indifferent to suffering, but humans weren't. And maybe, just maybe, that made all the difference. Come on. Partner, Devlin called to Xena. We've got another shift in an hour. Can't keep the quota waiting. Xena bounded over, her 4 eyes bright with determination. Ready when you are, partner Devlin. Together they walked back toward the cargo bays, 2 small figures against the vastness of the station. Proof that sometimes the greatest strength wasn't in standing alone, but in standing together.